I am a certified Scrum Master, and I will be taking you today on the rules of the various rules in Agile. Okay. Wumi, are you recording now?
Okay. Yes, you are fine.
Oh, okay. So tonight I'll be walking you all through, just giving you a brief overview on the various roles in Agile. So we're going to be talking about the team roles and their responsibilities as regards the team. So I would, because we have 1 hour, I would like you all to jot down any questions you have, and then we'll have a look at it at the end of the session. I'll try to go through it as quickly as I can so no one loses out on whatever program they have planned. Okay, so just a brief overview on what you should expect today. So I'll be talking mainly on the 3 main rules in Agile, okay? Other rules in Agile as well, I will mention them. And then we'll just give you responsibilities on them, as well as the project manager, business analyst, and data analyst. So we'll have your questions and answers at the end. So, okay, the 3 main roles in Agile, that would always come up is the product owner, Scrum Master, and developers. Can you hear me? There's a noise. Can you mute yourself, please, if you're not
Yes,
talking?
we can hear you.
Okay. So we have 3 main roles in Agile, the product owner, like I said, Scrum Master, and
Vivian, please unmute yourself.
Oh, apologies. I didn't know I was muted. Okay. I don't know where you heard me now, but I'll just start all over again. And so we have 3 main roles in Agile. Whenever you Google Agile, the 3 main roles that will come up, whenever you hear about Agile, the 3 main roles you hear are usually the product owner, the Scrum Master, and the developers. But there are more roles in Agile. Usually in the Scrum team, you have these 3, but in other frameworks and methodologies in Agile, there is a lot of roles, other roles involved. We have other roles such as the software architect, engineers, UX design, data engineers, testers, QAs. Most of the time, they're all regarded as developers in an Agile team because as many that will be working on the project are the ones that all have defined roles within an Agile team. So a Scrum Master. Who is a Scrum Master? So a Scrum Master is a true leader. Usually, or before November 20, they were regarded as servant leaders. But the Scrum Guide has corrected that, and they're no longer regarded as servant leaders. So they are true leaders. They lead from behind. They ensure that their team is being able to achieve their goals, using the best Scrum practices, best Agile practices, and, enabling growth within the team. So as a Scrum Master, you're supporting the team to embed the Agile mindset while promoting an environment in which they are able to achieve their goals. So you are there to guide the team, to encourage them and prepare an environment where they can thrive. That is your role as a Scrum Master. So your responsibilities as a Scrum Masters are not limited, but include being a facilitator. I'm sure many of you have heard that. Facilitator in terms of the Scrum ceremonies. But that is not the only thing a Scrum Master does. Okay, so they use the term facilitator in terms of facilitating the Scrum events. You have your Scrum events, the sprint planning, retrospective, daily stand-up, and also your review. So other than that, they act as a collaborator. They ensure that the what's the word? Continuous collaboration amongst the team. They make an environment possible for the team to also thrive. So they facilitate in that sense as well. So it's not just being carrying out the meetings, other meetings, or the Scrum events that they facilitate. So that is one way of them encouraging, building an environment whereby the team is able to thrive. So other than that, they own the process in terms of being knowledgeable about what Scrum is. So they need to understand Agile and the Scrum process as a whole because they own the authority. They are like the prophets. They should be able to identify anti-patterns when it's happening and be able to correct the team, ensure that they embeds the mindset and also creates an environment whereby best practices are being followed, within the Scrum team. Okay. So as a Scrum Master, you need to be vigilant, so that if that things are not being done in a way that enables the team, you're able to identify that and guide the team appropriately. They also act as someone who shields the team from both internal and external interferences. Internal could be amongst the team themselves. So ensuring that, they are carrying out work as they should. Okay, because sometimes when you're working within a team, they tend to, what's the word again? Sorry, give me a second. So when working within the team, they need to be vigilant to be able to identify and protect the team from internal and external interferences. Internal being, for example, I'll give you, let's say the teams are working on a particular goal, ensuring that they are focused on their goal, for that sprint. They're not being pulled away to carry out other duties while they are meant to be working on their sprint goal for that sprint.
What is it? What is it? Why something?
Sorry,
What?
can you mute, please? Thank you. So they shield their team in that way. So they protect their teams both from themselves and externally as well. So they help the team to remove blockers and impediments. Blockers and impediments could also be internal and external as well. Internal in the sense that teams sometimes might become complacent, when they are used to working a certain way, they're formed and everything. So you being able to ensure that you're keeping track of what is actually being carried out in the sprint, work that is being done, gives you the ability to be able to identify when things are going wrong so that you can actually attend to it at that time. So as Scrum Masters, in as much as we try to remove blockers, we are there to support them to be able to do things themselves. So we are there to support them for them to be able to remove certain blockers themselves, because our aim is to make the whole team self-managed. So we shouldn't be too quick to want to remove impediments for them. I'll give you an instance. So let's say within the team now, there's a access issue. Sometimes when they come in, they have an access issue. They might come to you about it. They're unable to get their tools. In as much as you can, I'm using you guys as an example now. Scrum Masters, I believe you're here. So I believe with your team now, some of them might be having access issues and they'll come to you and ask you to inform me to let you know that this is what is going on. So in such instances, you should have a log whereby you can be able to refer them and, direct them on the path of which to go. So supporting them to actually carry that out. So until they are totally blocked and unable to do it, then you can step in. because you have to bear in mind that we need to make them self-managed as much as possible. It's one of the aims of you being their Scrum Master as well. So you're there as a coach in the sense that you yourself as Scrum Masters need to understand the Scrum process. You need to understand the Agile values, the manifestos, the principles, so that you're able to direct your team. So once you have that knowledge, you are able to apply it and coach your team, especially when they are not, they're being anti-pattern in the sense that they are not actually carrying out the roles in that way. So I'll give you an instance now. So one of your roles as a Scrum Master is to actually support your product owner. Supporting in the sense that you ensure that the backlog management is being maintained properly. So whereby you find an instance where the PO either is unaware of how to maintain their backlog, you should be able to coach them. If your team, you should be able to coach them on how they need to maintain the backlog, understand the various techniques in which you can use to maintain the backlog, so that you can be able to pass that across to them for higher productivity of the team. Okay, so you should be able to coach them on that. And also, if your team needs any clarification, understanding of why exactly you carry out a Scrum event, what the purpose is, what its aim is, you should be able to direct them and let them understand why that is necessary, what value it actually brings to the team. So you need, as a Scrum Master, to be able to do that. So coaching is something you would not be able to escape, unfortunately, because your team will always need you. Since you are the prophet of Agile to them, you are the one representing Scrum. So they will always come to you for that. Okay. So other responsibilities of a Scrum team is onboarding. And I'm sure some of you have carried that out already in your teams. So you will always be the one that is in charge of onboarding your team. Either you creating a team from scratch, or you have a new joiner join you, you will be the one to onboard them. Onboard them in the sense that you welcome all of them to the team. Introduction is made, ensuring that the right skill set is for that project you're working on is what you've got as your team members. If a new person joins you, making sure they all have a good understanding of what they'll be working on, granting their access for them, ensuring that they have the right skill sets to actually achieve the project goals. You know, they all have the right equipment. I believe when you started this project, Scrum Masters, you were all doing that for your teams. And those that had access issues, I believe you were able to reach out to admin to sort that out. So those are the kind of roles you will be carrying out when you're onboarding your team. Okay. So effective communication. That is very important. You should be able to communicate effectively with your team. You should be able to foster an environment whereby they're able to interact, be able to be open, be able to be honest, be able to air out their views. Okay, so you have to be able to communicate effectively in the sense that making them know exactly what they're supposed to do and how they're supposed to go about it. So ensuring that whatever communication is being passed on is understood properly, and everyone is made aware of it. One of your roles, again, is resolving conflict. Bearing in mind that it's a team, different individuals, conflict is going to be inevitable. So this is where your soft skills comes in as a Scrum Master. You being able to understand your team, you being able to not be partial in whatever you're doing. So your team should be able to come to you. They should all be able to see that you're fair in your actions, fair in your interactions, fair in how you carry your team along. So they need to be able to understand that. So once you're faced with a conflict, you need to be open. Address it as soon as possible so that it doesn't linger on. Because the longer it does, it's going to affect the productivity of the team. And eventually, if left too long, could even resolve in groups, in teams. So you're there. Your role is to ensure that that environment that your team is going to work in is peaceful, is honest, is free. So whichever way, as soon as you notice any form of, or it's brought to your attention, you need to address it immediately. It might not be easy, but as long as your team sees that you are being fair all the time, everyone will be opened and you can always work together in that. So as a Scrum Master, you would also track, monitor the progress of work of your team. Because with that, you'll be able to give reports on where they are, be able to understand where they are. So using your Scrum events, using your metrics, that you would have your burn down chat, being present in your Scrum events, giving you the opportunity to understand how your team is working. So you need to be vigilant, in tracking all this. So you have an idea of where they are. Be able to identify when a team member is struggling, be able to identify when a team member needs help. Sometimes soft skills is a lot of things that you need being a Scrum Master, because individuals are different. And sometimes you might find it that some of your team members are quiet, some are loud, and some just, is in between. So you being able to bring out the best in them will help and improve productivity a lot for the team. So ensure monitoring and tracking progress of work is one of the roles which you'll be doing, because you also need to be able to give reports on where you are to management as required. Another of your role as a Scrum Master is encouraging team bonding. Like I said earlier, your soft skills is going to play a very big part in this one. Being able to ensure that the team collaborates effectively, they are able to communicate using the right channel. You're able to create an environment, a platform for them, that doesn't necessarily have to be with work. Using some of your Scrum events can also create that in your retro, trying to make it as fun as possible so that everyone is able to interact, be open. You bring in your Scrum values into the whole situation. They're able to speak openly, have healthy conversations whereby everyone is heard. You try not to leave anyone out, ensuring that you're checking up on your team members one-on-one and collectively as a whole. So just bringing it up ideas, even just creating a platform whereby that, okay, at this particular time or day is just for us to interact, share jokes, share fun. So as a Scrum Master, you need to be creative so that you're able to bring people together. And we all know, man, dealing with people can be hard sometimes. So it's you finding a way to be able to do that and bring everyone together is very important as well. So I'll speak on product owner now. So a product owner is responsible, they are like the face of the business. They have total knowledge about the product. They are responsible for carrying out, ensuring that the business vision is known. That is being able to interpret. So they stand and represent the business. They have a very good idea of what the business wants, what the customer really needs, whatever industry the product owner is working on, they need to be knowledgeable about that industry as well, especially when they are representing a customer, okay, because they are the ones that are able to understand the vision of the company, and will be able to communicate that to the developers so that they can actually be able to provide that. So they are the primary contact on behalf of the customer. So their responsibilities include product vision. They need to define what the product vision is. Okay, they need to understand the objectives, the goals, what is required. They have to have a knowledge about the product, do their research, have a good understanding of what is required, so that they, with that domain knowledge, are able to even offer insights, ideas to the customers as well. Should there be things that they're trying to implement that, it's not feasible, or be able to get more ideas that they can actually incorporate it. So they need to know the product like the back of their hand. They should be able to speak on it. When developers need clarity, they need clarity on any requirement, that he or she, whoever the product owner is, should be able to answer those questions and give feedback accordingly. Okay, so they manage the product backlog items. After gathering the requirements, understanding what the vision is, they prioritize the requirements and are able to ensure that the backlog reflects that. So they ensure the team understands what the product items, backlog items are. They ensure that it's maintained properly. It's, like I said earlier, the Scrum Master also supports in this. There are various techniques in which they use in managing the product backlog, such as must have, should, could, and all that with at the back. Sorry, I'm having a pain in my chest. So they should be able to manage the product backlog. So they are, like I said earlier, the primary person for the product. They are the ones who gives the effective communication about what is actually happening, what the business wants, how whatever changes they make at that particular time, how they bring it in. They communicate that feedback to the team as well, and the team is able to actually understand, and should there be any questions, whatever is needed is liaised between the PO and the stakeholders and the developers as well. So he is the primary contact in terms of what is required to carry out that project. So another role is for them to actually monitor the process. So ensuring that those set priorities are actually worked on, ensuring that he's present at the Scrum events, the sprint planning, the reviews, ensuring that he's there to assess the progress of the project. Should there be any change in requirements, he's there to answer them and also provide feedback both ways, both to the stakeholders and to the team as well. So he also is able to adapt to whatever change that might be required from the team. So from there, we go to the Agile Project Manager. So an Agile Project Manager, they are like, they manage the projects. So they ensure that the budget, the scope, is properly defined from the beginning. Their role is to understand the agile methodologies as well and be able to implement them with their team. So they have a good understanding of what is required of the project. So they are involved in the scope and the deliverables as well, and they communicate that effectively to the team. So their role includes okay, like I said, understanding the agile methodologies, defining the projects and scope and the deliverables. So they are involved with the budgeting, the planning, the roadmap of the project. Okay. And then that for them to be able to communicate it all over to the team. So they also manage the team dynamics as well, ensuring that there's quality and continuous improvement. So some of their responsibilities, this thing is slow, include set project goals and objectives. So with that, they are constantly collaborating with the PO, like I said, communicating back and forth so that they are actually in line in terms of the roadmap. They plan the project together, they communicate and ensure that everything is in alignment with the set goals of the organization. So they ensure that the projects are always on schedule, is able to identify when things are going wrong and assess such risk and mitigate as needed. They try as much as possible to always set realistic goals because there's no point. It's agile, so which is why everything is done iteratively in set times. So we should be able to set realistic goals and monitor the progress as we go along. So risk management is something they also do and mitigate. And also continuous collaboration with the stakeholders, just to ensure where they are, if what is being worked on is approved, if during the review, whatever feedback they have with regards the products, they are able to manage whatever expectations and act accordingly. So regular communication ensues between the stakeholders and the team as well. So yeah, I think I'm somewhere one. So they've continued to monitor and report progress, identify bottlenecks, risks where it might occur, and mitigate accordingly. So they are also true leaders. So they are stepping away from their usual waterfall management system. So they are more of embedding the agile way of working in the sense that they are being incorporating the principles of agile in how they carry out their work. So business analyst. A business analyst can serve as the bridge between developers and stakeholders. So they work hand in hand with the product owner as well as the stakeholders. In a team whereby you have a product owner and a business analyst, such teams work collaborate. They both roles work collaboratively together. So the business analyst is able to break down the requirements gathered from the PO into smaller tasks. So they're able to create user stories from them, whereby the team is able to actually work on during the sprint. So they also assist in managing the backlog and ensuring that the stories are written in bits, in small bits. So the user stories which are using PBIs. So they ensure that those stories are written in bits that the team can actually work on. Okay. So responsibilities of a business analyst. It's pretty much the same. They're kind of like interwoven with a product owner. So they also elicit requirements, from stakeholders, from the PO. They try to identify what is needed. They use various techniques to do that, either interviews, surveys. They use various techniques to be able to gather their requirements. They ensure that they have a knowledge of that industry as well. So they're able to also provide solutions should need be to them as well. So they document such requirements, after analyzing them, they create their backlog, like I said earlier. And they also are in constant liaison with the stakeholder management. So they communicate effectively with the team. They're always there, present as well. So they are also present during the Scrum events. They are able to step in for the PO should need be. They have a good knowledge of what the product is as well. So if questions are asked, they are able to, liaise with the stakeholders, give feedback as required, and be able to understand and let the team know what they need to work on. So they prioritize the stories as well in the backlog for the team. They also ensure that they are in good communication with the team. They understand where the team are. They ensure that whatever is being worked on, they test it to ensure that it meets the requirements of the story, the definition of done of the story, and if no change is required, it's accepted. So they also conduct the user's acceptance test. So we'll look at the data analyst now. So data analyst is someone who collects, they analyze data so that they can be able to help organizations have make informed decisions. So they are like the go-to people, you turn to for data. They transform whatever information, whatever data they have into information that can actually be used by an organization. Okay, so their responsibilities include recognizing and understanding the organization's goal. So once they know what the business wants, they're able to gather those data from different sources, be it internal or external. They extract them and then they turn them into useful information that the businesses can use. So their responsibilities include data mining, which is extraction of data from multiple sources. Okay, and they turn it into a more understandable format. So it could be in graphs, visual representation, but in a way that the business is able to use it to make informed decisions. So they prepare the data using various structured tools as well to analyze them, various analytical techniques that they use to analyze them, and then they present them in a way that the business understands, and they're able to make decisions about them, informed decisions from them. They also maintain the database for the data that they've collected. So they always try to keep them where they're able to look after them. So they're constantly collaborating with the business as well. And they're constantly collaborating with the business to ensure that they are actually carrying out what is needed. So data confidentiality is a very important aspect of a data analyst's responsibility. They have to be able to adhere to the various data governance of whatever industry they are working in. So from such data, they are able to produce results, reports for the business to use. Okay. So we have developers. Like I said earlier, the developers used to be known as a development team. Okay, so right now they're regarded as developers, and it comprises of various skill sets that are actually needed to be used to work on a project. So they could be made up of using the internships now, for example. Your developers include the QAs and the front end and back end developers. So whatever skill set is needed to actually bring that project to life, to be able to create incremental value every sprint, will be what will make up that a developers team. So it could be comprised of UX designers, like I mentioned earlier, data analysts. So whatever skill set is required, depending on the project that you're working on, and they are always knowledgeable. So they are meant to be self-organized because they know what they're doing, they know their stuffs. So they are essential members of the team, so they work on committed stories in the sprint and ensure that a value is produced ensure that a value is produced at the end of every sprint. So developers' responsibilities include them being able to estimate the stories. They are the ones who will be working on the stories, so they have the knowledge of what to be working on. Remember, they are made up of individual skill sets needed for that project. So they have an idea. They are the ones that understand the effort that is needed to actually bring those stories, bring value to those stories. So they are the ones that would estimate the stories. They have the understanding of what is required to do that. So they are the only ones in the team that estimates the story. So during the sprint, they own the sprint backlog. They own it in the sense that because whatever is needed for them to carry out that sprint, they create the plan, they create the task to actually complete it. So they know what is required and take it accordingly. So they'll be the one to work on it during the sprint. Their main focus for every sprint is to be able to achieve their goal. So they need to be focused when working on when working in the sprint, so they work being done. It's towards meeting the sprint goal. That is their focus. They don't go out of it to say they want to go and get work somewhere else. So that's another thing where the Scrum Master comes in. When I say you have to be vigilant and keep track of what your team is doing, so you ensure that they are working towards meeting their goal. They remain focused. They don't get swayed away from what they're actually supposed to do that sprint. So they collaborate and communicate together, attending ceremonies, the Scrum ceremonies. They use their daily stand-up to actually give updates on what they are working on. There you're able to understand what is needed. They're able to let the whole team know where they are and what they are working on. They adapt their daily stand-up, they adapt their work, according to what is needed for them to be able to plan and meet the sprint's goal. So by them continue to collaborate using the Scrum events and also ensuring that they're communicating with themselves to make the sprint goal. So they are also the ones in charge of testing, ensuring that whatever has been created meets the definition of done. They work accordingly, the testers there ensure that, quality assurance is met. They look at what has been produced, ensure the increment is tested before, after and before and after release as well. So they always keep in touch to ensure that whatever they've created is functioning as it should. Okay. So as a team, they are always learning, continuous learning and improvement. Continuous learning and improvement they carry out all the time. Apologies. Yes, to improve themselves. So the knowledge skill set. So they share the knowledge amongst themselves, because remember we said we encourage them to become self-organized. In that way, they share knowledge to be able to bring themselves up to date. Like, for instance, if there's a team member that is not knowledgeable of certain skills, another one can actually a higher team member with higher knowledge can actually coach the junior team member and bring them up to skills. So developers embrace their responsibilities. They ensure that development of they develop efficient and high quality increments are there, so they are able to self-organize. So with the continuous learning and improvement, that also helps the team as well. So I'll just give a brief summary of what we've gone through. So the summary, SM, they are Agile and Scrum experts. They coach and mentor, they facilitate, they encourage self-management, and they protect the team. The PO is the go-to person for the knowledge about what is required from the stakeholders. They manage the product backlog. They monitor progress of work and ensure that what is being carried out during the sprint is required. The developers estimate. They are the ones who estimate the stories. Skilled. They're all of different skilled sets. They collaborate and communicate constantly with the team and with the stakeholders to ensure that they are actually working on the increments as need be, able to accommodate change if need be. They give progress reports and also ensure quality assurance is met by testing the product. So the DAs, they gather data from various sources, analyze data, interpret data, report data, they adhere to the quality governance of data as well. Agile project managers are knowledgeable about Agile practices. They are able to embed the mindset as well within their team. They define the project scope and deliverables. They monitor the work progress as well. So the BA, they're the ones that gather the requirements, populate backlog, ensure product meets requirements. They are also the ones that break them into user stories so that they are able to be worked on effectively. So that's all. If you have any questions, please.
Thank you, Vivian.
Who is there?
I say thank you for the session.
Yeah, that's fine. What's your name?
Ijoma.
Oh, hi, Ijoma. How are you?
I'm fine. I'm a Scrum Master.
Oh, you're a Scrum Master. How are you finding it so far?
Fine and interesting. The first time
Oh,
I want to jump out of the program, but as time goes on, yeah, it became interesting.
okay, that's good. I'm glad to hear that. So,
Thank you.
what team are you on?
I'm on Team Flex.
Oh, Team Flex. That's good.
Yeah,
So, how's your team doing now?
we are
What?
good. We have a
Okay.
newborn team.
Oh, that's nice. Congratulations.
Flex baby.
That's very good.
Thank you.
That's very good.
Yeah.
Does anyone have any questions for me? If there are questions in the chat, can you let me know, please?
Okay, I'll let you know. Guys, does anyone have a
Oh,
question?
QAs I said was the testers. Remember I mentioned them in as one of the um developers. Okay, so you are the ones who actually carry out the quality assurance. So you are the one that tests to ensure that the stories, developed are have value. So you test them according to ensuring that they meet your definition of done. So you are the ones that carry that out for whoever put the question on QA. So you are part of the developers as well. Any more questions?
Okay, guys. Is in the absence of any questions, or does anyone have any question? Okay, Farouk, hi, go ahead.
Farouk, hi.
Hi, Vivian. Thanks a lot for the
Hi.
session. And it was clear you were going through some discomfort and all. Thank you for holding up for us.
Yeah, that's
There was,
fine.
yeah, there was part of the roles when I think it was in the summary that I saw that UAT was actually put under, I think, part of the developers, even though earlier I'd seen that UAT was for the BAs, to sort out. So I just wanted to know, is it just that summary part? Is it the testing for the developers as in QAs different from the one that the BAs handle as user acceptance testing?
Okay, so sometimes it depends on the team that you're in or the organization. So why I put that there as well is because sometimes developers actually do that as well, just to ensure, like when they are, allow me, please, what's the word? My brain is fuzzy now.
Sorry,
When they test,
sentence.
yeah,
Repeat the sentence.
sorry.
Repeat the sentence. I wasn't listening.
No, I was talking about when developers do carry out UAT as
Yeah.
well.
User
Yeah,
acceptance testing. Yeah.
yeah, no, not the yeah, not the full meaning. When they do that in terms, when you have to test each other's work, there's a
Yeah.
word for it. Yeah, what's the word?
If you use
That's what I'm
alpha
looking for.
beta, then if you are testing each other's work, it could just be
Mm,
a swap. I don't know the word you're expecting particularly.
yeah, yeah.
It could just be a swap.
There's a technical term for it. Like they when they like come together to like it's gone off my brain. But yeah, so that was why I put that there as well. But UAT
Is
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 the
that peer review?
peer review. Thank you very much. Who's that?
Rose QA.
Hi, Rose Q. So you see, that's why she
Everyone is muted. You need to unmute yourself. I have a feeling we lost Vivian.
I think we've lost Vivian.
Okay, I think I'll pause the recording. Farouk, what was your question about?
No, I think it was practically what she was trying to answer. It was about the summary part of her presentation showed UAT under developers, and she referred to testers under the developers. But then she had already mentioned, the UAT part of the BA role, that the BAs own the user acceptance. So I was asking, the difference between the two UATs or how they interplay. So that was, I think, what she was trying to explain.
Okay, sorry, I really have background noise. That's why I'm also a bit just going off and on. So yeah, I think she has responded to that. But when it gets to that, I'm just for how it plays. When the developers are done with their own, I think we know how it plays out. That when the developers are done and the QAs they've tested and all that, and there's no bug or anything, it's clear to go. Then they put it in UAT. And when they put that in UAT, of course, the BS, they check it out and move it along. But also in between that, a lot of things can go on. A lot of things can, be played out. See, every organization have different ways of doing it. So I don't want to maybe confuse us or as regards that, but people have different ways of doing it. But usually we say, okay, maybe the PO can pick it up, look at it and all that. But all these things that they do, they are all developers. In some organizations, it will be the developers alone doing it themselves. They don't have testers. Some organizations, they have testers that they do it themselves. So there's no one way or one particular way of doing it. But the standard way definitely is for the developers to, probably finish up their part. The testers will finish up their part.
Oh,
And
apologies,
like
was locked
said,
out.
yes, okay. Like Rose said, yeah, peer review. And funny enough, why I was now laughing when Rose spoke is that we still spoke about this was it on Saturday, Vivian? That you might not have been on the call, but we still spoke about it on Saturday about peer review. I think it was Fumi, but not Mamora, the other Fumi that asked the question on Saturday that we're talking about it. So I was just laughing that me too, I wasn't putting, I was actually doing 100 things at once, but it's fine. But I think you finished answering Farouk's question, right? I didn't follow the question.
Yeah, because Farouk was the only one who said something. I don't know if anybody else said anything.
All right.
Because I was locked out, so I had to come back in.
All right. Thank you. All right. Any other questions from anyone, guys? Yeah, I figured that we lost you. Any other question from anyone, please? Okay, so probably I think for me, I'm believing that people have a very good idea of this. That's why there are no questions. But if not,
Okay, does anyone have any challenges or anything they're facing, even if it has nothing to do with the presentation now so far, or with your role, with how you're finding the program? Any questions?
Hello, good evening.
Hi, Adura.
Yeah, I don't know if it's proper or probably this is the right place for me to ask a question about
hold on.